In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Welcome to the podcast you've always wanted. It's The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie.
Hey, unfortunately, I'm opening the show, so it's not going to be as ecstatic as it usually is. Maybe Leslie will say that thing she usually says.
Well, now!
Yeah, see, there we go.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk about Putin and Syria and some stupid kid in his clock, but we thought that we'd occupy the first block of the show by talking about something that I generally, affirmatively, and completely hate to talk about, which is the culture war. The culture war is something that basically Hicks have decided that they would fight and lose, like a pathetic Vietnam without any weapons, and they would just sit and complain that America is changing and that, you know, incest ain't no fun anymore and Billy Graham isn't attractive. And no, in all seriousness, the culture war is so stupid. People lost the culture war not because of any, like, media indoctrination or savviness by the left. The right just simply refused to fight the war.
There you go.
They just simply refused to fight it with weapons. It was absolutely ridiculous. But we in America have a really great gift, which is Trey Parker and Matt Stone. For those of you who don't know, those are the two absolute motherfucking geniuses behind South Park. South Park is one of my favorite shows. I know I talk about Simpsons on Twitter all the time, on Facebook. South Park, I think, is really where it's at in terms of demonizing really namby-pamby leftist frou-frou kind of shit, whether it be, you know, fat-ass, bloviated fucking Carl Reiner trying to ban cigarettes in parks, to, you know, Tom Cruise trying to disguise the fact that the guy who runs his church fucks his wife and, you know, impregnates her. Oh,
Wait, what?
I probably shouldn't have said that. I'd probably get sued for that.
You probably should fix the pronouns there.
Well, I probably should. But the point is that South Park, I think... Now, for people who don't know, South Park episodes are written about 5 to 6 days before they air. It's a tradition that they started when the show began, and it's a tradition that they continue to do now. They do 12 to 14 episodes a season. They do one a week. The episodes are produced in as little time, sometimes as 24 hours, with varying results.
So it's effectively like a Saturday Night Live. It's almost the animation analog to a live show.
Correct. It's almost it's almost a made-to-order TV show. And South Park does their 12 to 14 run, and then they take a siesta for like 6 months because it's a lot of damn work.
Well, it's exhausting, yeah.
Yeah. And so they disappear for 6 months, and then they come back, and they do another show, and again, you know, varying degrees of success. But it seems like they went on a hiatus for 6 months and just sat and became angry. Because,
you mean this last time?
Yeah, this last time.
Season?
It seems like in between last season and this season starting, they just sort of disappeared and stepped back and were like, wow, this shit is fucked up. Like, this shit is fucked up and bullshit. Like, now, South Park has always been a very center-right...
Like, how many shit to the new season are there?
I don't know, 19, I think. I think this is 19.
Oh, okay.
This show's been on since I was in grammar school.
No, I'm saying how many episodes into this season?
Oh, 2 episodes.
Okay.
Tomorrow will be the 3rd episode.
Okay.
So they took a break and they came back and they were just like, wow, we fucking hate everything. And so instead of being the center-right, center-left kind of TV show that they usually are, which is extremely, extremely covert about its message, they came back, and the very first episode that they had turned social justice warriors and political correct, you know, ninnies in colleges into frat boys who beat the shit out of people. I can't. Now, I can't tell you how absolutely funny this episode is. I can't overemphasize this enough. What I said on Twitter, I think yesterday, or the day before, or today, I forget. You know,
or last week, or next week.
Whatever.
One of those.
South Park took a hiatus for 6 months and came back and just basically fired 2 consecutive shots at social justice warriors, political correctness, and at the left and at progressives, and it is fucking scathing. I mean,
they came back on rage roids.
Yeah. Notwithstanding the fact that they basically fucked Donald Trump to death.
Well, we'll get to that shortly. I'm still interested in this college one.
Okay, so the PC episode is absolutely astounding. The principal of the school's been replaced by a recent college graduate that they call PC principal. And yeah.
Principal of the kids' school.
Yeah, the kid's in a grammar school. And so he basically, just kind of comes in and he just, sort of rehashes all the like crazy racist shit that's happened in the show in the last like 10 or 20 years. And he's like, you have a fucking guy who's a Mongolian, but he's really white, and he built you have a fucking Chinese, white guy pretending to be a Chinese guy who built a wall to keep out Mongolians. Like, are you people serious with this shit? Like, so
then he beats up people?
Yeah, you got to kind of watch the episode. He beats up Cartman. There's this really funny part in the show where, like, Cartman goes in there with Butters' underwear, and he like he dips Butters' underwear like in some urine from a urinal, and he's like,
"Oh my god,
PC principal, you don't want to end up like that spokesman from Subway, Jared, do you?" And so the guy just starts wailing on him, and he's like, "Did you just use a gender pronoun that makes it seem like women can't be spokespeople? Are you trying to defame two groups of people at once, bro?" And it's it's really, really fucking funny. It's really great.
It's like on point. Yeah, they get it on point when they want to hit a target. They get it.
And they hit the target and they hit the ground running, and it was great. And I'm one of these people that I check the South Park website like 2 or 3 days before the show is supposed to air, because especially this season, because I'm just dying to see if they're just going to keep this trend up. And
So what happens at the South Park website? If you're going to confess to all this geekdom, then let us know. Like, what happens at the South Park website 2 or 3 days before the episode airs?
Oh, they just post a banner, on the website saying, coming Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, a little screen cap from the episode, and it's just like a very, very brief synopsis and then the episode name.
Mm-hmm. So my
episode is about gentrification, which is going to be really great, I think.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh my god. So they came back on frickin' Roid Rage, apparently.
Yep.
And, right on time, because I think, talk about your culture war. I think we're certainly at a crossroads here in the nation with the upcoming presidential election. And, on the Democrat side, you have the felon who can't comprehend, technology enough for national security. And you got the socialist, and on our side, we know what we got. So it's a good time for them if they want to take the gloves off, it's a real good time.
Yeah. And they did take the gloves off. And it's what was really great about last week's episode, and you haven't seen it yet, is
just tell us.
Is that you watch this episode and Mr. Garrison just kind of slowly evolves into, Donald Trump. And you're talking about, he gets up in the middle. He gets up in the middle of the student assembly. And that was a great thing. So they instead of using South Americans, they use Canadians, because that's South Park's thing.
Right, blame Canada.
Yeah, they rip on Canadians.
Right.
So, so instead of South Americans, they made the illegal immigrants Canadians.
Uh-huh.
And so these Canadians are like doing this presentation in the gymnasium in school, the whole school, talking about Canadian heritage and pride, and Mr. Garrison just gets up and he takes the microphone away, and he's like ripping on illegal immigrants and telling them to go home, nobody wants you here, and sorry, not sorry. And then PC Principal gets up and he's like, "You're Garrison, you keep this up, you're fired, bro." And so Mr. Garrison goes, "Yeah, and I'm also not afraid to stand up to PC Principal. You, sir, have a pizza face and you suck your mom's dick. Sorry, not sorry."
Sorry. So Mr. Garrison is one of the teachers in this school. I'm just trying to fill in holes for people that don't watch South Park. I know it's incomprehensible to you that some people don't watch South Park.
If you don't watch the show, you should absolutely watch the Trump show. I mean, it should be.
So this is the most important question now, because I didn't know that what happens during the show is that Mr. Garrison, the teacher, evolves into Trump. I had no idea. I thought
No, he doesn't evolve into Trump. It's that they allow you to think. Running up to this episode, they didn't show Garrison. They just showed a crowd of people with like Donald Trump signs as the teaser image. And it said, South Park makes America great again. And so you keep thinking, where's Donald Trump? Where's Donald Trump? And then Mr. Garrison emerges, and you're like, oh, well, I guess Garrison's just he's gonna be the Donald Trump for the show. And I didn't.
The Donald Trump-esque figure.
Yeah. I thought he was just gonna assume the role of Donald Trump.
Right.
And then the last 5 minutes of the show, he sneaks into Canada because the Canadians build their own wall. And he sneaks into Canada, and it's like desolate and empty, and people are committing suicide, and it's just basically turned into a wasteland. And he sneaks into the Parliament building, and he gets to the top floor, and there's Donald Trump as the president of Canada. They don't call him Donald Trump in the show, by the way, but it's fucking Donald Trump.
Okay.
I mean, it's fucking Donald Trump. Come on. It's Donald Trump.
Okay.
And so he basically rapes Donald Trump to death. He beats him up, he throws him down on the rug, and he just rapes him until he dies. And then it cuts away from that just as Trump dies. It cuts away from it, and there's a Canadian guy knocks on another Canadian person's house in South Park, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, the Canadian president got fucked to death."
And this is why I don't watch South Park.
This is why you should watch South Park.
Too rapey.
Actually, this is the only sexual assault this is only the second violent sexual assault that's ever happened.
I know what the first one was. We'll save that for later.
Oh, the Indiana Jones thing.
Yeah, hey, is that saving it for later?
You can still talk about it. I'm sure nobody's seen it. It's an old one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after. So, So, but you know what's funny that you mentioned this? Because I look at your the hell's it called? Your GIF that you keep putting on Twitter with the Donald Trump dancing.
Can't get enough.
And in my mind, I'm like, well, there's something wrong with this because they drew him like a Canadian. Because South Park specifically draws Canadians with a different face. And with a different talking motion. And I'm like, why is Donald Trump a Canadian on South Park?
Yeah.
No, I know.
It's so great, though, because Mr. Garrison comes into the office and he's like, Trump goes, "Hey, buddy, you're not supposed to be up here." And so Trump goes, "I'm not supposed to be up here. Where's my country gone?" And so Donald Trump goes, "Where's my country gone, buddy?"
My God. So they make him sound like Terrence and Phillip.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Terrence and Phillip are like the animated heroes from Canada that all
show within a show.
The kids watch. The show within a show. Terrence and Phillip, the Canadians. They suck.
I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, buddy.
I thought that was from Ocean's 13.
No.
I'm not your friend, pal. Okay.
I don't know that that's the origin of the joke.
Yeah. Joke's probably been around a while.
It might be. I don't know.
So for me to establish my very, very limited South Park creds, I was there for the premiere of South Park. That for some reason was on during the daytime. I don't know if it was the premiere, but one of the first airings of South Park in the first season, which I will say was 1997 or 98. And one of the airings was while I was at work. And we actually all stopped working, and my whole section of our office and gathered around to tune into South Park for like the first 3 episodes. And we like nearly peed ourselves laughing. And we're like, oh, this is something. This is my first
What
job
was
out of
it?
college. Huh?
Which episode was it?
Well, like I said, I remember the first 2 or 3, and there was a thing where there was a pot-bellied pig situation. Like somebody had a pot-bellied pig and they didn't know whether to keep it as a pet or like what to do with it. And there was the bus driver hated all the kids. And they went to visit Big Gay Al with his big gay lion, Roar, who he was.
Oh, I remember that. That's Big Gay Al's Big Gay Circus.
Yeah. And he, like, Big Gay Al was doing like mutation experiments with animals.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe. I don't remember that.
I remember.
Well, I don't, but I do remember the episode in general.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
I was a fan of it. Well, no shit. I was a fan of it for like the first few seasons, and then basically when the movie came, I saw the movie in theaters, and by that time it's like after that it kind of gotten too rough for me personally. Like we're too, the freaking movie, and you got the Satan in bed with Saddam Hussein, and Saddam Hussein is freaking out Satan.
Hey, come on, guys! I can change.
Yeah, well, he's got like a sex toy and is freaking out Satan. That kind of did it for me, and I'm like, I don't think I need any more South Park.
Satan is awesome, by the way. They have since used him a dozen times. Much funnier.
He's very sensitive Satan.
He actually was just in one of the last season episodes. It's the first time they'd used him in 3 or 4 seasons.
What do you do?
It's difficult to describe. It had something to do with freemium apps and Canada, and you got to kind of watch it.
Premium? Yeah, Satan and Premium.
Sorry,
They're clever guys. The
last season had an overall plot to it, as this season seems to do.
I believe in showbiz they call that an arc.
Yes. It it's not so much an arc as it is the stories are loosely connected in some way. I don't want to be too theatrical here and say it's a story arc, because it's
a thread.
Yeah, it's just like little things kind of dangle through each episode.
Okay, that's what he said.
But last season was kind of crappy. So I'm really happy that this season turned.
Well, maybe that's why they came back. Maybe that's why they came back angry.
Well, I think they came back angry just because this kind of shit really pisses them off too.
Mm.
I saw Book of Mormon on Broadway. I know what these guys are capable of.
What was my other thing? Oh,
free book written by Jesus.
Okay. My other thing was I saw a special, some sort of documentary about sort of the behind the scenes on South Park, when they were making the human centipede episode.
Oh, the human centipede episode.
Yeah, the human centipede episode, and it takes you through. I would recommend anybody Google it. It's probably available for free online somewhere, but it takes you through like when they show up and they're actually kind of struggling for the show for that week, and then they start, brainstorming and whatever, and they like do their own voices too, which I didn't know. So there aren't many like outside people that do the voice work, and that was a very cool behind the scenes to see how they go from like really like being incredibly distressed about what the show's going to be through writing it, through their own, guffawing, through the dialogue, and then, the production of it and the airing of it.
Yeah,
and it really, really goes down to the wire.
Yeah, there are only 2 people that do voices on the show besides Trey Parker and Matt Stone. That's Mona Marshall and April Stewart.
Yeah.
I don't particularly know which voices they do. I assume they're all female voices, but although really fun fact, George Clooney actually played a dog on the show one time.
Oh, that
Yep.
is a fun fact.
Yeah, they do celebrity voice. They have in the old days they used to have celebrities come and do guest voices on the show, but they'd always give them stupid things like bark like a dog or pretend to be a bird. Jerry Seinfeld was a cat. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
What is with hairballs? That's not what he said. I'm making that up.
Yeah, it's so weird that they do that, but it's part of the fact that they really I don't think they want to pay them to do actual voiceover work, and B, they have a real tradition of making fun of celebrities, so I think they don't want to feel like they're indebted to them.
Yep. So the other thing I want to call out about South Park is your very famous episode on that other podcast with the Alec Baldwin South Park episode.
Oh,
that is probably the only one I've seen in 10 years because of the treatment that you gave it.
That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 2 seasons ago?
Something like that, yeah.
So Alec Baldwin basically, we have like a link to social media implanted in his head. Is that right? So he can just talk and whatever he says.
Well, he
is,
could
like,
think.
posted to
It would allow him to think and tweet and stuff at the same time.
Oh yeah, just his thoughts. He would just think, and it would be on Twitter because that's like how bizarre his tweets and shit were at the time.
Yeah, and then there's the famous pussy sandwich.
Pussy sandwich going down to so you do the line.
Oh, I don't remember what the line is anymore.
Something about Chelsea, stopping at Chelsea.
Yeah, those, it was like those. God.
I should have prepped you.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact. I don't remember the exact line. It was something like those faggots in Chelsea make a really great pussy sandwich, or something like that. Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, so that's one episode that I recommend because, like I said, I'm really too soft for South Park. So Billy, what's obviously interesting is bringing it back to the culture war is that after all these years, these guys don't seem to take much heat anymore for what they do.
Well, I don't know. They got a lot of stuff over the Trump thing.
From who?
Trump fans. Trump himself.
Does that count?
Not in my book, but degenerate weirdos on the internet, jacking off in the Kleenex, yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, they I wrote a piece about this actually. It the response from Trump and his fans are just like really basically very Scientology like yeah, we should Donald Trump. I remember one of them was like Donald Trump should hire private investigators to go through their garbage and dig up dirt on them and put those people out of business. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you in a cult?
Dude, seriously, that is very
what
Scientologist.
A religious cult say.
So they just want to dox the people that produce South Park because they produce satire offensive to them?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, and by the way, these are Republicans, y'all.
Yeah.
Republicans.
It's really frightening. It's really, really frightening. Some of them suggested that the FCC should fine South Park for it. Comedy Central. Some of them suggested that he should hire attorneys to sue them. For what? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's very weird. It's almost uncomfortable to live in a world where people believe that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we're people that, again, are not the usual suspects, not the SJWs. People that, in general, before this year, you would think you were totally aligned with them on a lot of issues.
Yeah,
now they're being like this.
And they come out of the woodwork for something.
Now they want to fucking SWAT people and dox people. That's scary.
And for what? It's a fucking cartoon show.
It's a cartoon.
The TV show, the show that leads into that is fucking Modern Family. Like, really? You wanna mess with that? Like, I would say that if you're getting your opinions of political figures and news and stuff from a cartoon TV show that makes jokes about 8-year-old boys being raped and, principals beating kids up in the bathroom, I would say maybe your skin is tissue paper thin.
Right. Or if you think...
Or you're a fucking retard.
Yeah, or if you think that that's going to influence someone to the extent that it's going to damage your candidate, maybe your candidate isn't very, very strong.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. If you think that, you're a retard.
Okay. We're going to take a break. When we come back, maybe a little more about South Park and the culture war. And then we offend everybody. We'll be right back.
In fact, our alphabet and yours are fairly similar. So why don't we begin singing it together? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, B, Q, R, S, T, U, friend, W, X, A, and these are Canadian ABCs. Susie likes hairy balls. What do you think of these? All right, now everyone.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Game On. Remember,
lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of liberty-conservative conservatism.
Where no one is safe and no one is spared. Not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola
anyway.
radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey?
Today.
Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote. Just do your rant. Let's pop out of the segment.
Has to do with
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form Kydex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
We're back on the right angle with Bill and Leslie. We're talking about South Park's contribution to the culture war. What else you got, Bill?
I want to talk about this really quickly because the whole purpose of wanting to talk about this on the show stems from a conversation that I was having with Andrea Root. You know, we have so very few things that are center right, right-leaning, whatever you want to call it.
You mean in entertainment?
In anything. In anything in the media, really. But specifically in entertainment, yes. And South Park has always been on the forefront of this. Always. And now that they're becoming more overt, I think South Park is a great weapon in no, I don't want to say indoctrinating, but bringing that 18 to 35 demographic over to this side. Because there are an awful lot of kids that watch that show. Even kids younger than 18 watch the show. Mm-hmm. I went to a bar the other night to have dinner. And
what?
I wasn't drinking. But I went to a bar the other night to have dinner after work. And I'm sitting there and I'm just eating my dinner. And there's like half of the waiters who are like, 22, 23, something like that. They're all talking to each other. Hey, bro, you PC, bro? Yeah, I'm PC, bro. Sweet.
Oh, wow.
We should rhetorically defend minorities, bro. Like, like the dude in South Park. And it's catching on, I'm telling you. South Park is really on to something here, and I want to think that they know that they are, and if they don't know it, they're really on to something, because they're not only becoming a terrific weapon in immunizing children against progressive bullshit, they're also creating these awesome fucking catchphrases that people are using as memes now. And it's spreading.
And that's definitely something that I think the right is lacking. And I hate memes, and I certainly hate graphic memes. But the fact is, a meme is just a word for encapsulating a larger idea into a small soundbite.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And there's like a half a dozen of these really great quotes from both of these episodes. And I'm sitting there in this fucking bar, and I'm sitting in New Jersey. And this is a liberal area of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And these people are just going, yeah, I love rhetorically defending minorities, bro. It's catching on, and it's these people, like progressives, they're becoming a joke now. They're becoming a something to laugh at, and it's all fucking because of South Park. So,
well, I dare say it's not because of South Park, but because they've been a joke for a long time.
Yeah, but they've been a joke inside of a vacuum.
Right.
They've been a joke inside of a vacuum.
We know they've been a joke, but South Park, and I think it's creeping out to the larger comedy world, I dare say. But South Park, if South Park is going to go strong on it now, you're right. That's incredibly helpful to our movement.
It's insanely helpful because it targets the right age bracket.
Yeah.
It targets the right demographic, the 18 to 35 crowd. That's exactly
and it's also
lacking.
The age bracket who is in college or recently graduated from college. So they're in that insane Marxist bubble, which I like to call, those college kids Marx-filled cupcakes. So they're inundated and bullied, truly bullied, with that side of the ideology all day, all night for years and years. And now then you're sitting there watching South Park, which is, very, I don't want to say violently, but very outrageously poking fun at the exact ideals that are being drilled into your head day in and day out.
Correct. And it's great. I think it's great. It couldn't be done better or by better people.
Yeah, or at a better time.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I'll have to start tuning in more. I'll have to have you screen the episodes before me and let me know which ones I'm not too fragile for.
You should watch the first one, definitely.
The first one this season?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will. Just make sure you screen out the ones with that poop, with the literally the piece of shit that's a character. I don't want to see any.
Oh, they haven't done that in 10 years.
Yeah, I don't want to see.
Mr. Hankey's been gone a long time.
Good.
That joke's not funny anymore.
Thank God. Wasn't funny at first either.
It was okay. Now it's a little too childish now.
Good. Okay, so let's go on to more adult topics. How's Putin doing?
Putin is the leader of the world's one remaining superpower now.
Yay!
What the hell was that?
Blame Canada. I was saying yay.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Blame Canada.
Putin is the president of the world's one remaining superpower now. Ironically enough.
Yay!
Did you ever?
I got to
see that day.
No.
Well,
I got to go back into my WWF archives and start learning the Soviet national anthem again from Nikolai Volkov. It's before your time. It's before your time.
I don't know that.
Never mind. Everybody's going to get that who listens to the show.
Maybe. But yeah, Russia is now a superpower, and America is just led by some dim-witted fucking idiot who wears mom jeans that the, Nobel Prize Committee said that probably shouldn't have given him the damn award in the first place.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen this week.
No.
That's something. That's something. Nobel Prize being like, oh, we may have jumped the gun. We were really trying to do that to influence them. Oops.
Yeah, and that's so strange too, right? Because that's not what the Nobel Prize is supposed to be for. It's not to influence people to achieve things. It's to recognize those who have achieved things.
Does that mean it's a bribe? So the Nobel Committee is basically in the business of bribing people?
I suppose. I wonder if it's... Well, I don't know.
Come on, one. They can influence me. Give me a Nobel Prize. I'll do what you want.
Yeah. It's all really, really stupid, right? Because we have Russia is a world superpower now. We have basically decided we're not going to participate in the world, and we're going to take a back seat, let everybody else drive the car for a while.
Yeah, I don't like this weed.
And now Russia and Iran and China and Iraq are collaborating on intelligence on how to best fight the Islamic State.
And Syria.
Yeah. And, we've basically conceded that Assad isn't going to go anywhere. Although, I think I called that 2 or 3 years ago.
As did I.
Assad isn't going to go anywhere. He never was. Because he realized that for him to go anywhere, they'd drag him to the fucking street and kill him like they did with Gaddafi, and he wasn't about to have that. And I think we're basically at a spot now where we're just like, well, the Russians are bringing planes in and they're doing airstrikes and whatever. And Russia is saying that it has a vested interest in stamping out ISIS in the area. And I don't know what that interest might be beyond its affiliation with Syria. I mean, maybe something is brewing in terms of ISIS in Russia, and he wants to, stomp them out before they get there. I really don't know.
Well, let me tell you, Colonel Ralph Peters was on last night, and I'm a big fan of him because he's actually the king of the military one-liners. So I love whenever I see him on air, but I'm going to quote some of his opinion on this very topic. So he said, Western elites still dismiss Putin because he didn't go to the right prep school. He doesn't have the perfect table manners, but it's the outsiders who change the world. You know, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, they were not insiders. And his opinion, and I completely concur, of course, he says Putin has 3 goals right now. His 3 major goals in foreign policy is to humiliate Obama, because he hates Obama in part because he's racist as F. He says, number 2, to restore Russia's greatness back to the height of the Tsarist Empire before the Cold War. And number 3, push into the Middle East and construct a wall. Check this out. Construct a wall of Iranian-dominated, Russia-friendly, anti-U.S. states from Western Afghanistan through Iran, through Iraq, through Syria and Lebanon to the Mediterranean Sea. And that wall will overshadow Israel, and Netanyahu is already making nice with Putin, end quote.
I disagree.
With what part?
I disagree with his assessment that Putin's long-term strategy is to essentially embolden terrorism in the region.
This is not terrorism. No.
What the fuck do you think Iran is?
Terrorism. He's trying to embolden the state leaders like Assad.
Yeah, but what do you think Iran is going to do? You just said it. What was the phrase? Iran
dominated.
Yeah.
Iran dominated, Russia friendly. You don't think he can keep a leash on Iran?
No. And quite frankly, I don't think Putin is naive enough to think that he can. I think Putin is a lot of things, but I don't think that he's stupid. And I don't think that he thinks that he can keep a lid on the largest state sponsor of terrorism and sale of
weapons to terrorists.
Yeah. I don't think Putin is that.
I completely think he can. I completely disagree with you, because I think if you have the leader of a superpower that sits at the table with you, unlike our feckless president, who will sit at the table with you and say, look, if you go down the road I tell you to, and you keep a lid on this terrorism bullshit in the way I tell you to, and I'm going to enrich you and protect you. If you don't, I am going to fuck you up 8 ways from Sunday. I think he can control anybody over there.
I don't think so.
How you like that fanfare after what I said? Oh, we got to take a break, by the way. I think that was a reminder. We'll be right back to offend you thoroughly. Back in a minute.
Wake up, America.
The biggest threat in those days were from factions seizing control of the governing apparatus and making decisions that were in their interests. Today, we call factions political parties. George Washington himself warned the nation about the dangers of factions in his farewell address.
Office Hours with Dr. A, 3 p.m. on Sundays, K98 Talk. We've got something to say to you, America.
Red Nation Rising brings you Town Hall Radio.
From a single tweet to 3 million a month, our community is a force to be reckoned with on social media.
So don't miss our show, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on K98 Talk.
Our chat room is our co-host, and you ask the question.
Join us and be heard.
So get ready to sound off on Red Nation Rising Radio. No one else is going to do it for you.
back on the right angle with Bill and Leslie. Billy, would you care to explain to the listeners how you and I kind of like Assad?
I like Assad because he's a secular guy and he enjoys gassing terrorists for fun. What's not to like about that? It's like Saddam Hussein. How do you not like that?
Yeah, and I like him because he minds his own business. He may occasionally have anti-West rhetoric, very occasionally, because he's in fact a pro-West guy. He's a brutal butcher and a brutal dictator. Sure is. Messes up his own people all the time, and he's brutal, and in that regard he sucks. In the human rights regard, he sucks. But in the pro-America regard, he minds his own business, and he doesn't tolerate terrorists, and he doesn't tolerate jihad. And I think Billy and I agree that we all should have minded our own business with him, because what we did instead was this half-ass bullshit that has now led to an unstable Syria. This red line bullshit that didn't do anything, this half-ass arming of Syrian rebels, half of whom are really jihad fighters, and then this training of, wait, I'm sorry, how much did we spend? $500 million or something to train, 9 fighters? 9?
Yeah, 9.
Who showed up and surrendered? And by the way, breaking news today, we're suspending that program.
Well,
today.
It was an evil program anyway.
Jesus, what bunch of nonsense.
It's not like it did anything anyway.
It gave a lot of fantastic arms to ISIS.
Well, besides that, didn't really do anything. Right?
It did, it added more to our national debt.
Yeah, basically trying to explain what that program did. It's a struggle.
The struggle is just come on, 9. What is this? It's.
I think Patton could have trained more people in a year.
Patton could have trained more people at a breakfast.
I could have trained more people making them read Patton's book. Right.
How much would it cost to translate that book to Arabic? Not $500 million.
No, probably about $50.
And then in Iraq, we sent, this is the other thing I learned today, we sent a bunch of shitty MRAMs to the Kurds in Iraq last month, which I didn't know. We were finally giving them aid, finally. You know what we sent? Naked MRAMs. They didn't have... It's like sending a goddamn tiger cage on wheels. They didn't have the side armor plates. Yeah. Because that's an upgrade. Did you hear that, Strick? Because it's an upgrade and it's not exportable.
No, I didn't. But I have a lot of reservations about arming the Kurds. I have a tremendous amount of reservations about arming them.
Interesting. We disagree on this too.
Well, they're effectively terrorists. I mean, the people who are doing most of the fighting for the Kurdish people are the PKK. They're a communist guerrilla terrorist organization responsible for hundreds of murders and bombings in Turkey. I mean, actual bombings, not maybe they were framed for them because the president of Turkey is a nutcase. I mean, actual shit they take credit.
So how is the aid split up between them and the Peshmerga?
Well, the PKK is doing about 60 to 50 to 60% of the fighting, so I would say it's probably goes along those lines.
All right, well, this is problematic then, I guess.
But yes, I mean that's basically our allies. Kurdistan is a communist country too, by the way. That's something that people don't understand either. We're effectively arming communists, telling them to fight ISIS, and then what do you think they're going to do with the tanks when they're done with them? They're going to turn them on Turkey?
I think this is something we should talk about sometime on the show, because that's not that's not my knowledge. I understand the PKK, but The Peshmerga and the other parts of Kurdistan are actually pro-Democrat.
Okay, but the PKK are doing 60% of the fighting. And Kurdistan is a communist country.
Kurdistan's not a country.
Well, they would beg to differ about that.
Yeah, I agree.
They think it is. Let's put it that way. It has autonomy.
Yeah. We should definitely
their autonomy, they are communists.
We should definitely spend more time on this in another show.
Anyway, so I have a lot of reservations about giving guns to violent communist groups because I think once the terrorists that we sent them out, I just think it turns out to be another Bin Laden thing. You know.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? Why are we sending guns to anybody? Like, I understand the point. Oh, you don't want your own boots on the ground. Oh, you don't want your own kids in combat. But by just sending shit out to these unpredictable factions, like, it's just making everything worse.
Yeah, because then when and if we'd have sent them armored MRAPs and they'd have gotten stolen by ISIS, then ISIS would have them. So
why don't we just not send any?
Exactly.
Send it right, or don't send it at all. Anyway, what else do we want to talk about? Because this is annoying. I got something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
The Teamsters aren't endorsing Hillary yet.
Oh, yeah, they're probably never going to show up.
we can't make an endorsement yet. That must suck.
Well, they're not going to. They're going to probably endorse Sanders.
Biden's
not going to run.
What?
Biden isn't going to run. He doesn't have any money. What's he going to run with? Harsh language and good feeling?
Obama money. He's going to run with Obama phones and Obama money. Obama's going to send all his shit behind Biden.
Obama doesn't have any money.
Fundraisers, darling.
In what? 6 weeks?
Fundraisers and bundlers.
All those bundlers are already tied up for Hillary.
We'll see.
Well, I promise you, if Biden runs, he won't have any money. He'll just split the vote like Ross Perot did.
That would be horrible.
Well, not for us, it wouldn't.
And Mike Bloomberg was making noise.
Good, please run.
That would be fun. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Another stupid motherfucker to run on the left wing that no one will, know about.
We can talk about the Second Amendment more.
Bloomberg he's all kinds of shit.
Yes. Anything else before we sign off?
No.
Okay. Well, where can everybody find you?
Don't find me.
And you can find me on Twitter at LA Dowd and on air, pre-recorded on the Snark Factor with Fingers Malloy and Midnight Movie Cowboys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thanks to our K98 Talk family and Politainment family. And of course, thank you to the ever-patient, holy moly father, Ricky Robinson. And we will see you next week.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washing washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for